Tfue, the most popular Fortnite player of his time. He started from humble beginnings to qualifying for the world's biggest gaming tournament to competing in Mr. Beast videos. And then leaving us all behind. This is the entire story of what happened to Tfue. Turner Tenney, better known as Tfue, came from a humble household. Turner and his three siblings were all homeschooled by their parents for most of their lives. Some would look at this as a negative, but because they didn't go to a regular school, they had more time to pursue their passions. Both of Tfue's parents were very supportive of all their kids, all of whom were very creative. They all used to make silly videos together like this one, which was uploaded to YouTube 16 years ago. That clip that you just saw was from the first video ever uploaded to a channel known as Juke Squad. This channel was run by Tfue's older brother Jack, but featured all of their brothers, including Jack and Pierce. A lot of the earlier videos focused on the outdoor activities they were involved in, the first of which was a sport called skimming. Tfue got really good at it really fast. He even traveled all over the country participating in skimming competitions. He even did the world's first 900 big spin. Once Tfue got bored of skimming, however, he changed his focus to longboarding. He even started his own longboarding channel, which was the first time that he had ever started his own YouTube channel. And eventually he got tired of that too and started to search for a new hobby. And that led him to cliff jumping. And of course he got really good at that too. In between jumping from extreme sport to extreme sport, Tfue also loved to play video games. Surprisingly enough, however, Tfue and his siblings weren't allowed to play video games growing up. He actually didn't try video games until he was 13 years old, and he started on a game called RuneScape. After getting tired of RuneScape, Tfue jumped from game to game, trying to find one that fit him the best. Toontown, Call of Duty 4, Halo, Call of Duty World Cup, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, well, you get the point. He tried a lot of games. And it was around this time on May 22nd, 2014, that Tfue started his second channel ever, which would be his gaming channel Tfue that we all know today. His first videos were all Call of Duty Advanced Warfare highlights. These clips are obviously very different than the Fortnite videos Tfue is known for now, but you can just tell from these highlights that Tfue knew his way around video games, and Turner had some real potential in it. Where Tfue really shined was in a brand new game mode taking the world by storm called Battle Royale. The first Battle Royale that he played was H1Z1. H1Z1 initially entered the market on February 15th, 2015. The original game was featured in survival mode, but a Battle Royale mode became way more popular.
Let's go, baby! Let's fucking go, dude!
In addition to the gaming videos, Tfue did add some IRL videos on his channel as well, going back to his roots of doing extreme sports. Here's a clip of him jumping on a trampoline full of mousetraps. Ah!
What the fuck, bro?
Yep, well, that was interesting. Anyways, in between the insane IRL videos, Tfue started playing H1Z1 competitively. In fact, he was on top of the leaderboard for several seasons of the game. And he was even rivals with Ninja, yeah, that one, way before either of them made it big as content creators.
That is literally, dude, the definition of a nerdy play, man.
By the start of 2018, Tfue had 65,000 subscribers on YouTube, which for 2018 wasn't bad at all. But this was just the start, because Tfue was about to play the game that would change his life forever. On February 2nd of 2018, Tfue uploaded the first ever Fortnite Battle Royale video to his account. This video was titled Fortnite 29 Solo vs Squad Kills Crazy
Michael.
And exactly what the title said in the video. He plowed through 29 players like it was nothing. And after winning the game, he said this.
Not bad, but we do.
At this time, Fortnite was on the come up and becoming wildly popular, but people were not that good at the game. So, as you can see, Tfue was well above the average Fortnite player. He was building like crazy while everyone else was still running away and hiding in bushes. He was constantly breaking world records for the most kills left and right as well. Because of his crazy talent and entertaining personality, Tfue's following started to grow very quickly. Later that year, Tfue hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube on April 15th. Shortly after this, Tfue would get some amazing news. He was officially invited to FaZe Clan, one of the biggest esports organizations of all time. And when he joined FaZe, he became unstoppable, it seemed. By the end of the next month, in May of 2018, he hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube and was averaging 10,000 viewers regularly on his Twitch streams. This is also where he started to compete through popular tournaments called Friday Fortnite. For the first week, he teamed up with fellow content creator and the creator of FaZe himself, FaZe Banks. But by week 2, Tfue found his forever duo partner, Cloaksy was another member of FaZe, and these two were a force to be reckoned with. They were regularly placing in the top 4 teams for the rest of Friday Fortnite. Because of his amazing performance in these tournaments and his really infectious personality, by July of 2018, Tfue had already hit 2 million subscribers on YouTube and was averaging 40,000 viewers on his Twitch streams. I don't think I have to say that that's crazy. Even by today's standards, that's an insane amount of viewers. This amount of growth was not only unprecedented in the gaming community, but in content creation as a whole. Unfortunately, however, all of that attention wasn't always positive. On August 7th of 2018, that same year, all of Tfue's accounts were taken over by a group of hackers. Here's Tfue explaining what happened.
Basically, I woke up one morning and I couldn't sign into my YouTube, and then I couldn't sign into my Twitter, and then my Instagram, and then my Snapchat. All my emails were hacked, so basically everything was hacked, you know?
Tfue's Twitter name was changed, and his profile picture was changed to a strange man. The hackers also made a ton of negative tweets about fellow creators like Keemstar, Ninja, and Myth. Plus, they tweeted out a bunch of other racist stuff, which I'm not going to show here. And if it couldn't get any worse, the hackers started streaming awful Fortnite gameplay on his Twitch account. Luckily, Tfue got his Twitch back pretty fast, but once the hackers were taken off of his Twitch, they started streaming on his Instagram.
Hey. Nie, brat.
Hey.
Nie, brat. To naprawo w zatvora trauka.
Determined to make Tfue have the worst day ever. In addition to all of this, Tfue's YouTube account, which he had been working on for 6 or 7 years at this point, looked like it was suspended. Tfue didn't receive access back to his YouTube account until August 14th, which was over a week later. But this victory again was short-lived, because on August 23rd, 2018, just 2 weeks later, Tfue's YouTube account was deleted, like fully gone. And on top of that, his Twitch was suspended. He didn't get either his YouTube or Twitch reinstated until September 5th, 2018, almost 2 weeks after this whole event had happened. However, this may have been a good thing, because the return stream was so long awaited by his fans that his stream broke the record for Twitch viewers on that day. Luckily for Tfue, however, he was able to participate in Fortnite competition while he was waiting to get his socials back. He competed in the solo summer skirmish, which took place on September 3rd at PAX West that year. Tfue placed 27th out of 300 players, which earned him $5,000.
Yo.
Now, what are you going to say to the millions that love you and the crowd that's live here at PAX? What do you want to tell them?
I love you guys. I'm going to miss you guys for sure.
Shortly after that, Tfue once again teamed up with his fellow FaZe member Cloaksy to participate in the Duos Fall Skirmish series. The two of them had multiple first-place rankings in the qualifier rounds and eventually placed first overall in the event at TwitchCon on October 28th of 2018.
Where the circle is going to start claiming quite a few players time here at the crowd.
Едно време бяха истински турнир, брат. По принцип. Сега са някакви ментета, брат. Гледай какви красни мрасти има.
You are the number one duo. How are you guys feeling right now?
Dude, I don't have words. Shout out to all the fans. Shout out to my partner Tfue.
Ти са истински турнир, брат. Виж, Лама е мал да е.
Да, стараха се.
Total prize pool of $10 million, which at the time was the largest Fortnite prize pool we had ever seen. This first place finish earned the team a whopping $400,000, which even today is a crazy amount of money for an esports competition. Tfue was at the top of his game, one of the best in Fortnite. His YouTube channel now had over 8 million subscribers. Yeah, 8 million when he had only had 100,000 subs earlier that year. He was such a big YouTuber that even Mr. Beast himself invited him to be in one of his videos.
Raise your hand if you think Tfue should lose his trumpet.
Get rid now.
Up, up.
It's trumpet!
Tfue seemed invincible. He had very few, if any, haters at all. People loved him and his content, but even for the most amazing creators, it seems like controversy finds everyone in the gaming community. And for Tfue, this was no different, because on May 20th of 2019, Tfue decided to sue FaZe Clan. He accused FaZe of not only purposely limiting his career, but also promoting underage drinking and gambling. Not to mention, FaZe had got a very young Tfue to sign a terrible contract that allowed FaZe to keep 20% of his branded earnings and a whopping 50% of his live appearance earnings. This is what Tfue had to say about the contract.
Kids are getting ripped off. They're getting taken advantage of. These contracts are not okay, and this needs to never happen again. And there's tons of people in contracts this bad, just like me. And I'm the first person to stand up and say, this is not right. This is not cool.
This video blew up, and on the same day he announced the lawsuit, he decided to leave FaZe forever. Of course, FaZe Banks decided to come out against Tfue, basically saying that he lied about everything. This is what he had to say.
And I know your team of lawyers and your dad and stuff, I know they convinced you this was a good idea, but I promise you it wasn't. Maybe it is. Maybe it is for your career or what you have in mind for a career. And if you destroy part of FaZe Clan in the process and you knock us down a couple pegs, if that's what your goal was, maybe you will succeed in that. Maybe you won't regret it from that standpoint, but as a human being, I think you will. Because I think you and I both know you've never met a person who went out of their way for you like I did. And this is before the money. This is before the fame. This is before the success. This is before your clout, your bull clout, all this bull internet. It's so disgusting, man. I reached out to you. I extended my hand to you when you were a no one, when you were a nobody, and I believed in you, and I put everything I had into you. And all I can say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this didn't work out.
Surprisingly enough, people seem to side with FaZe Banks. Tfue lost over 30,000 YouTube subscribers because of the drama, and Banks gained over 200,000. Then later that year, FaZe hit Tfue with a counter lawsuit. This lawsuit took almost a whole year to finally settle until both sides mysteriously dropped the case almost a year later in August of 2020. No one really knows how the situation ended, and both FaZe and Tfue have kept mostly quiet. This situation might have been enough to end any YouTuber's career, but not Tfue. He just kept marching on. And at this point, he was still one of the great Fortnite YouTubers around. And he wasn't going to stop at just that. He not only wanted to be known for his personality and his skill, he wanted to be known as a world champion. And luckily, a little tournament was about to be announced to give him that opportunity. This was the Fortnite World Cup.
Ето с World Cup, брат, всички са родиха така.
It's your road to the Fortnite World Cup.
The Fortnite World Cup was a global Fortnite competition held in New York City with a $30 million prize pool. This, even still today, is the biggest prize pool in esports history. And this was Tfue's opportunity to win big. Unfortunately, Tfue and his duo Cloaksy did not qualify for the duos competition, but Tfue's hard work did pay off in solos as he placed first in the Week 3 solo qualifier.
Ти от преди една година. Не знам дали вече няма с по-голям прайс пул.
Май нямам.
Защото дотата имаха някакъв много голям прайс пул, ама...
I'm saying, like, I got first?
Не знам колко са.
I think you got first on East, yeah.
А то защо е 69 точки, той е втори?
Победи или килове?
He had the most experience in LAN competitions and even got first place in the last tournament that he competed in. Not to mention, half of his competitors were still in high school and some even in middle school, since this was the first tournament where Epic lowered the age of competition from 16 to 13. Unfortunately for Tfue, however, the tournament did not go as planned. He finished 67th out of 100th, winning him $50,000. which, although that sounds like a lot of money, was the minimum amount of money you could win by qualifying for the tournament, so it was a huge disappointment for both Tfue and his fans. Many haters claimed he didn't care about Fortnite anymore, and that he was now focused on content creation rather than actual competitive play. Some others, however, said he was never even good to begin with, which obviously isn't true, but Tfue was starting to get more haters than ever. But hey, the guy was probably just having a bad day. It's a lot of pressure to compete on such a huge stage with a sold-out Arthur Ashe Stadium, and sometimes things just don't go your way. Although we'll never really know why Tfue underperformed so much at the World Cup, we do know what happened after that, and Tfue had announced that it was going to be his last competitive Fortnite Cup of all time.
This is my last competitive shit is the World Cup.
See, Tfue wanted to focus on content creation and streaming, and he did just that. He started to do more vlogs and highlighted his family life in Florida, where they did a lot of crazy IRL sports again, as well as some gaming content too. You see, although Tfue wasn't competitively playing Fortnite anymore, that doesn't mean that Fortnite wasn't a major part of his life still. I mean, you don't just get a Jonesy tattoo on your thigh for nothing. That shows some real dedication to the game.
What the f did I get on my leg, dude?
However, that being said, and much to the dissatisfaction of his fans, Tfue would eventually stop playing the game that made his career. See, Fortnite became a thing of the past for Tfue when a new battle royale came out called Warzone. Tfue released his first Call of Duty Warzone video on June 16th of 2020. He also played Fall Guys, Among Us, Minecraft, and even did some IRL content like flirting with my hot neighbor.
Oh, my boy. How big is this gonna be?
This is a good thumbnail, right?
Basically, he was doing anything other than Fortnite, and his content was doing good, but not great. His videos were sitting around 1 million views per post, which is absolutely huge for some creators. Don't get me wrong, I don't even get anywhere near that. But this was also nowhere near the views that he was getting in 2018 during his peak in Fortnite. After about a year of trying other games, Tfue did what many YouTubers do when their audience disappears and goes back to what brought them there in the first place, and he returned to Fortnite.
Ти кой сезон е, брат? Chapter 3 сезон 2.
Tfue released the video, I'm coming back to Fortnite. And believe it or not, he did just that. For the next year, he pretty much played only Fortnite, especially because he was super excited about Fortnite's new no-builds version. The no-builds version of Fortnite was really appealing to some of the older players who didn't want to sweat and build all day. But instead of this saving his channel, his views tanked, even more than when he switched over to Warzone. Instead of hitting 1 million views per video, his Fortnite videos were barely reaching 150,000. He kept up the Fortnite content for another year until April 23rd, 2023, where he kind of disappeared. For almost 2 months, Tfue was nowhere to be found on the internet. He didn't stream, he didn't upload to his YouTube, and he was mostly quiet on all of his other socials as well. But then, on June 20th of 2023, Tfue dropped a video called Goodbye.
So I just need to take time off, you know? I'm fucking 25. And I feel like majority of my life has been in front of a screen, which is, you know, I wouldn't take it back for the world. But I just feel like I need a break, you know?
This video included a heartfelt montage of major moments in his career, and it ended with a tearful goodbye to his fans and everyone that had helped him on his journey. Essentially, this was the end of Tfue's story. Or was it? You see, it was the end of Tfue until 6 months later on November 19th of 2023. On that day, Tfue released this video where he emerges from his own tombstone on a sandy grave and marches back to his streaming room that everyone
Как е дошъл под пясъка, брат?
Не.
Here, Tfue not only announces his return to streaming, but that he'll also be leaving the platform of Twitch and moving to Kick. Kick was an all-new streaming service that flaunted no ads and a low-key approach to content moderation. One of the biggest points that was bringing people over is that it also allowed gambling on the platform and also gave creators a bigger cut of sub percentage for money. The New York Times even called Kick the Wild West of streaming. People weren't exactly supportive of this move, and Many criticized him, claiming that the move was obviously only for money, which it probably was. Although we don't know exactly how much Tfue was paid to join the Kick platform, we do know that fellow streamer XQC was given $100 million to join the platform. So as you can imagine, they must have wrote Tfue a big check to come back to streaming and do it on their platform. But just because he was signed with Kick didn't mean he was going to stream regularly. Tfue played a little bit of the Fortnite OG season that came out, and even did some IRL live streams from time to time. But he's nowhere near as much of a regular streamer as he was a couple years ago. And it's clear that despite signing with Kick, Tfue is kind of still retired. That being said, however, Tfue's Rest in Peace video that was posted around 4 months ago was followed up by 8 new uploads over the course of the next 4 months. So even though he might say he's retired, and then unretired, and then re-retired, and then unretired, and then who really even knows at this point, I think it's safe to say that Tfue isn't really going anywhere. He has a very clear love and passion for gaming and more importantly his community, and he will always have a presence online. But I respect that he has set boundaries to not overwork himself, and he's using his platform to show young people what life is all about, having fun. Well, there you have it. That's the story of what happened to Tfue. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
To Tfue ze mną się zna, brat.